Guys, welcome back to the channel and hope you guys are doing well. The AMC's price action was as predicted. The only reason I'm starting this video on this weekly chart is because I feel like the AMC's price action has been like a tale of dojis. So last week we got this beautiful doji, right? So it still remains to be seen whether that doji is going to take us up or take us down depending on this week's price action. Now, if you watched my last video, I was talking about a double top or a cup and handle pattern. If you haven't watched that video, you can go and check it out. But I am still very convinced on that. I mean, I'll show you why. So here's the cup and handle pattern that I was showing you on a 15-minute time frame, right? Look at this. This is a brilliant cup and a handle with a breakout right at the end of the day. Now, I mentioned in my previous video that we can see one more day of pain, which is essentially what we got. I mean, you look at how picture perfect this this bull flag is. Tap, 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 come down and then break out of it. Now in after hours it's trying to go up again. So I feel like this cup and handle pattern is still in play, and if I were to chart this out for you guys, the way I would see this happen is that tomorrow we would want to test the neckline, which is denoted by this yellow line. So if we do that, if we test the channel, if we test the neckline tomorrow, that would be almost a move of 10%, and that's quite likely that we get that tomorrow, a 10% move. Again guys, let me remind you, this is just my analysis. This is not financial advice, so please do your own due diligence before taking any trades. But the way I see this happening is this cup and handle pattern is playing out very well, and this I was a little bit skeptical till this particular point here today. I thought this would even come down and make like a double bottom before it bounces off, but the last hour and a half of breakout at the end has given me some conviction on the fact that yes, you know what, we can be seeing something. So we can open up with a little bit of a gap up tomorrow in pre-market hours, test this channel line, and then slowly make our way up towards this neckline here. Probably vibrate here for a bit before we try and make a steady break maybe the next day, right, during the after hours. So that would be the classic case from a cup and handle pattern. So that's that pattern, guys. Now if we I also wanted to show you the bearish scenario. Like for example, if we get rejected off of this line here, because this is not the right time frame for it, let me take you down to this 4-hour time frame, which is the mother of all sort of channels that we have been following. Oops, I'm still holding this, sorry. So these are the major resistance lines that we have been followed, and to be honest, we haven't broken out of them properly yet. We have still continuously formed dojis. Like for example, here's an hammer doji, here's another doji, and now we are trying to move up. So that gives me a lot of confidence that we will this time on the third attempt break it. Now I don't know how many of you guys have heard of this, but there is also a concept called the Livermore pivot. It's was created by Jesse Livermore, and during any kind of breakout you would see some sort of a price action like this. So this is essentially what is Livermore pivot, where the price comes up, does sort of a double top formation, gets broken down, and then breaks out of it. So if we are that is the bullish case scenario. Like if we are in that sort of a Livermore pivot, and if we end up breaking this tomorrow, maybe we get one last push down to retest this channel before we move back up again. So that's the bullish case scenario. The bearish case scenario, of course, is that we get broken down, right? And we get broken down from here, we come down and we test this line, which has been AMC's support, and then we decide what we want to do from that point on. Now, if we end up doing something like that, guys, we are sort of in I mean, a case can be made that we are making an inverse head and shoulders here, right? So, like for example, if there is more pain to come, right, and this is what ends up happening. You can see here that this is sort of the formation of an inverse head and shoulder with this neckline, of course, being extended through this particular place, and then we break out. So essentially what I'm trying to say here, guys, is that in either way, unless and until AMC decides to move back into this channel, right, we are still in a overall bullish thesis with this stock. Now there can be a couple of possibilities. Maybe we get to see a pop-up tomorrow itself. Maybe it takes a little bit longer, but at the end of the day, we are still holding our bullish thesis intact, right? So let's quickly look at some other indicators and see where we are at. Let's check out our RSI. Yeah, the RSI is pretty okay. So we have another decent move up. So we are below the 20-day EMA. So that's okay. So it's not overbought, neither oversold. Let's quickly look at our ATR. So let's see what the volatility is up to. So the ATR is sloping down a bit, but it's all right. It has already been elevated. So even the ATR is forming sort of like a flag pattern, and it can sort of turn back from there. Let's see what it is showing on the day range, right? Okay, look at that. So we've got, because of the last week's moves, we've got an elevated ATR. Now it's just slightly trying to cool off before another pop. Now remember, guys, ATR doesn't tell you anything about the price movement up or down. It just shows you the overall volatility. So the volatility is still high, which is good, which is what we want, because we want another pop going up. Now if you look at the daily candle today, you can see that we have formed another of a perfect sort of a like a shooting star or a hanging man, however you want to look at it, but it is one of those dojis, right? So this demand wick is quite good to see that there is still buying pressure in the market, and this will be, if you look at the accumulation distribution line, you can still see that. Look at this accumulation distribution line, right? It's pointed upward, guys. It's going up and up and up and up. That means that people are buying. Look at this. It's still going up. The next resistance it faces is somewhere here at 1374. It is still at 1358. So this just goes on to show that the market's buying pressure is there, and the buying pressure has not declined. So hence my reasoning for the bullish thesis. Now the one final thing I wanted to take a look at is my EMAs very quickly. So let's put those on. Now I like to look at my 233 and my 377 as my long-term EMAs, and those are fib numbers that I feel makes a lot of sense in the market, for me at least. So let's see where they are at. If we've got a crossover yet. Okay, so we haven't got a crossover just yet, but this is what I wanted to show you guys. I mean, look at this, guys. The 377, which is the white line, and the 233 is just about to cross over here, right? The last time we saw that was here before this pop in 25th May of 2021. Now, I'm not saying that we are going to get the MOAS, tomorrow, but this is a pretty good indicator, because see, since the very beginning of the stock, right, there's only been a couple of instances where the 233 has crossed above the 377, right? So that has happened. So here the 233 fell below the 377 and the price went down. Here we can see that the 233 went above the 377 and we got a price shoot up. Now we are in this sort of a weird range where we are sort of going here and there. So it doesn't guarantee anything, but it's another one of those signs which confirms the bullishness for me, at least, right? If I take it down to even smaller time frame, then you can see here that in the 4-hour we are just about to make that cross happen, right? Let's see the last time we did that. When was that? I believe that was here in Jan 2021, right? So before the first pop and the buy button removal of the AMC squeeze. So that was the first time that this event occurred. and then since then the 233 has been above the 377, so the 233 went back down here, and since then we have seen a downturn, and now we are trying to go back up. So overall, guys, here's the way I am looking at this right now, right? I'm still waiting for my cup and handle to play out properly. I feel like that is still worth a shot. And here on the 15 minutes, you can see how lovely the price is respecting my 233 and my 377. It's finding support here all this while. Support number 1, support number 2, support number 3, and now break up, come back down, find support again, and move on, rinse and repeat all over again, right? So here's how I see the market panning out for the rest of the week, guys. I am expecting AMC to test this neckline at 27.5, 27, if not tomorrow, at least within tomorrow and then the next day, and then move on up to the 29s and the 30s by the end of this week. Again, none of this is financial advice, guys. If you're holding options, be very careful. Don't leave any money on the table. If you're up on the options, just take your profits out and then play with the house's money. None of this is financial advice. Do your own due diligence, but I'm still extremely bullish on AMC. So there you have it, guys. That's your quick price action analysis for AMC's today's price movement. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. I appreciate you guys. If you like this kind of video, hit the subscribe. If not, thank you anyways for sticking around and watching this. And happy trading, and see you in the next one. Cheers.